I've substantially cooled on my praise of Jordan Peterson in recent years at this point in time. Holy, I can't believe we've got to that point. Used to be a big fan. I own both 12 Rules for Life and 12 More Rules for Life. I think that he was incredibly important to the zeitgeist. I thought he had a lot of insight to offer, and then he got hooked on benzos, ended up going through rehab in Russia, let his daughter have way too much say in his brand, and well, it just ended up kind of damaging his overall legacy, not to mention his consistent war hawking and being wrong on all international conflicts. But when he sticks to what he knows, there's very few people who end up doing it better. And for the first time, to my knowledge, he got to sit down with somebody who he's been pining to have a conversation with for a long time, and that is, in fact, Elon Musk. And this little clip right here does explain why Dr. Peterson misses out on a lot when he's trying to engage with the other side to try to figure out why they tick, because he generally tries to see the good in people. He doesn't want to immediately jump to malevolence, and at this point in time, if you've been noticing enough patterns, if you have simply a little bit of experience on the internet in the wider spectrum of humanity, at some point in time, you can no longer attribute to idiocy what you can to just outright malice. And well, as you can probably see if you're doing a little bit of reading ahead, Jordan Peterson's biggest miss in the conversation with Elon Musk, assume other people have the same intrinsic value as you do. And then Elon Musk responds to this, but instead of just me doing a bad Elon impression, just let this conversation, this 31 seconds, play out.
The Sermon on the Mount's a very detailed set of instructions.
Yeah.
So there's three parts to it. The first is aim at the highest thing that you can possibly conceive of and keep modifying that so your aim gets better. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is make the presumption that other people have the same intrinsic value as you do.
Well, we have to be careful about that one.
Okay.
Oh, very much so, because Elon Musk, he's definitely been exposed to some of the more malevolent and lying forces that are out there. Because remember, okay, prior to, I think, the events of July 13th, okay, after Trump took one for the country, he has become, far more staunch in announcing his positions, and he has seen the darkest parts of society rear their ugly heads. And as he gets further into this interview, into this conversation, he reveals a bunch of other personal traumas that have really started to shape his outlook on life. And well, you would think with everything that Peterson has been through, he would be able to resonate with that and not come to that conclusion just in this conversation.
Well, let's discuss that. But it's what would you say? It's a recognition of the universalist value of everyone who's made in the image of God.
Yeah, that's all nice and stuff. But he ends up just, falling into that old trap, the memeability of Jordan Peterson, where he says, instead of just conveying a simple idea, where it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, if we're going to be engaging in a good faith conversation, you would have to think that both parties would value the same central idea that you're discussing. But instead, he just extrapolates that out with a bunch of esoteric words, and you need to find your ideological equal at the bottom of the belly of the whale, and you need to save him to revive your father. And the only thing that is surprising about that interaction is that he didn't descend into tears afterwards. But you would have to imagine, I haven't watched the full episode, mostly because that would require me supporting Daily Wire, and they can go straight to hell. But there was some important stuff that was discussed during this interview that I seen out there, and has really made me both empathize and become a much more staunch supporter of Elon Musk, because I've always had my concerns with him. I think he's a little bit too chummy with the Chi-coms. I think that he, just like billionaires that are out there and people that you don't really know on a personal level. You don't have a personal relationship with people, don't idolize them like that. That's just my opinion on things. But when I hear the driving force behind how Elon comports himself, especially when he talks about how the ideological elements of society robbed him of a child, him constantly touting the dangers of the woke mind virus, start to make a lot more sense. Elon Musk says trans child was figuratively killed by the woke mind virus, vows to destroy it. My son is dead. That is powerful. Even just the headline that's right there. Because he's probably the most prominent example of something that happens a lot, okay? Your child is troubled at school, okay? Your child ends up at the therapist's office, or maybe a teacher recommends that, they go and talk to somebody. And especially, in the type of familial structure that Elon Musk has, where, he's got a bunch of baby mamas, like a true African American. He's not really present in a lot of his child's lives. He's a busy man with $1 billion empires to go ahead and run. Can't be around for every PTA meeting. He's a good father in the sense that he supports his kids, but he's also an absentee father in the fact that he's not there to play a more active role. So you can see how ideologues want to go ahead and wedge in their own personal little issues, and then it just ends up destroying a family, destroying a child's life, ruining a father's outlook, making him one of the most staunch crusaders to see this burnt to the ground. Like, I'm not a father or anything like that. I had a good father. I have good parents. Still have good parents. They raised me right, man. I cannot thank them enough for being fantastic parents. A lot of things that I do today, hell, an overwhelming majority of the stuff that I do today is to make sure that I don't embarrass them so that they can go ahead and go, yeah, that's my son. He's a success, because I want to go ahead and repay them for all of those years that they raised me the right way. And I couldn't imagine making my father as disappointed, as enraged as Elon has been at what has happened to his son Xavier, now Vivian Jenna Wilson. It's I think probably one of the most tragic, outside of the kid just like outright dying, most tragic things that can happen to a kid. It could end up being number one. Like I said, I'm not a father or anything like that. It's just, if I can extrapolate and I can play a couple of those mind games, I think this is probably the most destructive thing that can happen. Tesla CEO Elon Musk believes his estranged transgender child was killed by the woke mind virus after he was tricked into giving his consent for puberty blockers. Yes, and I've seen that play out, especially during the course of my commentary career here on YouTube. There was a story about a father who was separated from his wife. Obviously, single moms make great decisions. Taken, I do believe it was a son turning into a girl against his will. He ended up getting thrown in jail for contempt of court by not referring to his son by his chosen name. That was in Vancouver, and we uncovered a very nefarious plot by a very sociopathic doctor that was down there that was handing out hormone blockers like Skittles. 53-year-old billionaire vowed to destroy the incredibly evil culture that allows the gender reassignment surgery that is 20-year-old child. 20-year-old child? Probably still has the mental capacity of a child thanks to all of those excess hormones being thrust into his body. Vivian Jenna Wilson, who was born Xavier, got in 2022. I was essentially tricked into signing documents from one of my older boys. Xavier, the ex-owner, told psychologist Dr. Peterson in a Daily Wire interview. Yeah, exactly, man. You get told, right? Like, you get rung up. Okay, we need your signature on this one because your child is very sick, and if he doesn't take this medication, he's going to be in a much worse state, okay? Without, just saying the words that YouTube doesn't like, but you already know. You already know the lengths into which that these quote-unquote therapists will go to, okay? The heartstrings that they will try to pull on in order to elicit the correct decision from the despondent parent. It's like, oh my God, I want to do anything for my kid. Yeah, I'll just sign this. Okay, it's going to make him better. Okay, cool, bet. Especially if you're not apprised of these evil people. Yeah, you're more than willing to sign off on this stuff because you think that, well, it's the experts. They know what's best, right? Oh, very wrong. This is before I had any understanding of what was going on. The coup was going on. There was a lot of confusion, and I was told Xavier might, yes, self-delete if he doesn't. Peterson suggested that was a lie right from the outset because there's no clinical evidence to support that claim, and even more so in the convening years. It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting it should go to prison. Describing the process as incredibly evil, Musk said it is never explained to him the puberty blockers were actually just sterilization drugs. Yep, very much so. I was tricked into doing this, and I would imagine Xavier probably was at some level as well. I lost my son, essentially. They called it dead naming for a reason. This is the reason they call it dead naming is because your son is dead. My son, Xavier, is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. That is, wow, man, that's powerful. Powerful in the worst sort of way, because I legitimately couldn't imagine raising somebody and then all of a sudden being told, that's your son, not recognizing them because of the drugs they got tricked into taking and told you that if you didn't sign off on them, he would end up in a pine box. What the hell? But of course, he's the offspring of the world's richest man. It wouldn't be a pine box, but you get where I'm coming from. The SpaceX founder, who boasts nearly a net worth of $200 billion, said he was making it his mission to stamp out gender reassignment procedures for kids in the wake of his child's transition. I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, he said, and we're making some progress. Yeah, man, his acquisition of Twitter has definitely made the world a much more communicative place. A place where you can at least have these conversations. If you don't think that you're making any headway, you're at least making more people aware of how dangerous this stuff was, something that Elon wasn't back in the cut. Vivian, one of the 6 kids Musk shares with ex-wife Justine Wilson, made headlines in 2022 when she petitioned a California court to change her name and gender. Well, yeah, of course. In the court filing, she also requested to take her mother's last name to lose any association with her famous father, saying she no longer lives with or wishes to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. Cool. Did you go ahead and denounce any potential inheritance that you might get? Just wondering. Musk remarks came just days after it emerged that he was relocating his SpaceX and X headquarters from California to Texas. Oh yeah, this is also very important. Haven't had a chance to talk about this, but I think that it kind of flew under the radar of his open endorsement of Trump over, the weekend of the 13th. But Gavin Newsom signed a law that bans school districts from requiring parents to be notified if a child starts using different pronouns. And Elon Musk is like, all right, cool, we're moving SpaceX headquarters, X headquators, moving those to Austin, and SpaceX is moving to Space Base where they do all of those launches. That might be in Florida, and I think they might clarify that down here, but Starbase, Texas. Okay, yeah, that's where they do the launches there. This is the final straw because of this law and many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies. SpaceX will move from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas, and X's headquarters moving from San Francisco to Austin. I remember seeing that one. Did make it clear to Governor Newsom about a year ago that the laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children. Yeah, and this was after Gavin Newsom had to re-court Elon Musk after he was moving, it was Tesla's headquarters to Texas, and then he set up another headquarter in somewhere in California. Can't quite remember the geography of it. But Gavin had to cut him a deal on that one for him to come back so it wouldn't completely and totally tank the California economy. Hey, if he wants to go ahead and continue to sign ludicrous laws like this, you will continue to drive out any level-headed CEOs, the people that actually bolster your floundering economy. You will continue to kick them to the curb. And now that Elon Musk has a voice, has the understanding of these terrible, destructive policies, we're starting to see, and we've seen it for a little while, at least a ticking clock on the leftist control of culture. And now that we have a figurehead outside of the way too demonized Donald Trump, we're starting to get a little bit of a foothold. But we're obviously going to need more people to speak out on this stuff. We're going to need louder voices and more consistent pushback. Elon Musk is a great figurehead for doing that, but it's going to take people like you, like me, like everybody else who is sick of this crap to finally say enough is enough, to learn from the mistakes, to learn from the tragedies befallen the Elon Musks and the other people who have lost family members to the woke mind virus. We need them to start stepping up. And the moment that that happens is the moment that we start making lasting changes instead of just simply fishing for likes on social media that don't end up amounting to much. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.